We're on our way to Baptist. Sunday, I already want to cry. I'm a mess. August 8th, it's almost 8:30. We have to be there at 9. So, what do you want to tell Theodore?
I guess first and foremost, I want you to grow up to be a good man. I don't know, I guess that's the main point. A lot of things stem from that.
To make it out safely. And we're going to love you, and your sister's going to love you, and we're excited to meet you. And we're excited that your sister made us parents and that you complete our family. So, we'll see you in a couple days, maybe a day or two. We'll see. We love you. Love you.
We love you.
So I'm gonna jump right into it, going through the labor and delivery. So because it's COVID time still, and this time it's the Delta variant, they are still not allowing family members to go to the hospital. Luckily, because it's already been a year and a half since COVID started, they were allowing the spouse to be in the room for delivery, but no one else could go in, which I was totally bummed about. So I knew going into delivering Theodore that it was going to be harder in some sense. So I was a little nervous what to expect, because my mom helped me a lot overnight. The 2 nights before I had the baby, she was the one that took me to the bathroom. She was the one that helped me a lot. So I was like, okay, I've done this before. This doctor seems to want to get things done pretty fast. So we'll see. So my doctor delivered me. She goes, you took a long time. Sounds like you took a long time to have your daughter, but because it's your second baby, it should be faster. Well, when I got to the hospital, they immediately started me on, once I signed in, I got there at 8:45. I had to be there at 9 o'clock at night, and I immediately asked for I was like, can I get an enema? Like, it's kind of embarrassing to even say, but I was like, I want an enema. I'm like, the last thing I want is to poop on myself. I don't even want to even think about pooping on myself. So the nurse started preparing to do the enema, and she kind of like ducked down. She was like, okay, lay on your side, on your left side. And she was like, kind of like getting close to my butthole. And I was like, wait 1 minute. I feel like I'm getting gassy. I don't want you near this. And she like slowly backed away and was like, went to the other side of the bed until I was ready. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like even embarrassed, but like I feel like I'm getting gassy. And so I was like, okay, now I'm done. And the enema, just like last time, it's so much fun when they just fill you up, fill your butthole up with water and whatever other thing. It's like a little bucket with a tube into your butthole. I'm like, I just told Matt, just like, don't talk to me, don't bother me. Like, I need to concentrate on this not coming out of my butt. And so, you know, when you finally go to the bathroom, I felt like if you watch American Pie, the guy, I forgot, was it Stifler or who was it that went to the toilet and was just like having massive diarrhea? That's what I felt like. And just like the first time, it feels like that. It was like on the toilet for like 40 minutes. I was like, I need to make sure I'm totally clean for this, because I don't know when I'm gonna have the baby. So it was horrible. So they started me with I don't know what the medication's called, but it's just the little pill that they put in your cervix, which sucks so bad. Like, it's so painful. Every time they check your cervix, it's like such bad pain. So it's like for 2 hours, the pill is in for 4 hours. So every 4 hours, they come in, check your cervix to see where you're at, and then insert another pill. And I think it's up to 4 or 5 times they do that. So it's like 24 hours. So that was fun because the first 2 hours of every pill, you're unable to move out of the bed. So you're having to constantly, you're on IV, you're with the pressure on your arm, you're with the thing on your finger to look at your pulse, you're hooked up for contraction, hooked up for the baby's heartbeat, and you can't get up. You're not allowed to get up for 2 hours. So I'm having to pee in a bedpan. At some point, like after the 2 hours, I did ask for a wireless belly monitor, and they had it on for a little bit, but it just kept losing connection, so they disconnected me from it, which I was bummed because every time after the 2 hours, I would be able to get up and I would have to call them to disconnect me, let me go to the bathroom with my IV, and then pee, and then come back, hook me up, and make sure everything's working properly. So I really wanted the Wi-Fi or the wireless monitor, but again, it was on for a while, for a little bit of time, but it just kept losing connection. The nurses were constantly coming in to readjust. So that was not fun. And then after a few hours, then again, every 4 hours you're getting that pill. So you're having your cervix checked, you're putting that pill at your cervix, which is, again, very painful. Not fun at all. Like, excruciating pain. The doctor came in the morning and she was seeing my progress. Oh, Bobby, I know. I was not progressing. Alright. So it is 9:36 in the morning, August 9th. And nothing has progressed after 3 pills to soften my cervix. I'm still 1 centimeter, 30% soft cervix, and -3 is where the baby's at. He needs to come down. It's extremely painful. I knew it was painful. I've done this before, but going through it all over again just reminds you how painful it was the first time. I pee all the freaking time. Apparently the IV's not helping with all the times that I have to go pee. Makes me go pee more often. The bedpan, I named it Mom. And yeah, these people expect me to push with a mask on. It's just insane. I can't even get the pill inside of me without pulling down the mask because it's so painful, let alone trying to push a baby out of my vagina. You're crazy. But I'm technically supposed to be wearing a mask every time someone comes in, and I don't because I ain't got time to be pulling up and down my mask, so I wanna hold it. I tested negative for COVID 2 days ago. No, 3 days ago. Friday. Today's Monday. So that's where we're at. And I think after the 3rd pill, which was in the morning, she was like, no, this is the last one. I'm gonna put you on Pitocin. And I was like, oh wow, we are moving forward. I just met with the doctor. She checked my cervix, and still the same thing. I still have an hour left for this pill, but she said she doesn't want to give me any more pills. It's very painful, extremely painful. She was normally the second baby's faster, but obviously I'm 37 weeks. So if I were 39, 40 weeks, it would be quicker. But I think she just wants to get this over with. So I think she's gonna start me up with Pitocin probably in an hour or so. And then if the baby comes down, she's gonna break my water, so I don't know. And I asked the nurse earlier, a few hours ago, about if they break my water, how long can I go like that? And she's like, baby could be in there for 12 hours, without the water, with the water broken, and it's not a big deal. So we might have a baby today, or maybe even overnight, but I don't think it's gonna get into tomorrow. I don't think it'll get into tomorrow morning. So I'm just excited.
I'm really tired. They hurt really bad.
I was like, wow, this doctor just really wants me to get out of here. But like last time, I wasn't progressing. I was 37 weeks. I wasn't progressing. So she's like, we're going to give you Pitocin and we're going to make sure that you start progressing. Well, yeah, I started progressing and I started having contractions.
Oh god, this is so bad. It's coming down. I gotta pee. Every time these contractions hit, I gotta pee. Oh god.
And the contractions feels like cramps that just come in waves. So it was getting worse. She asked me at some point, like from 1 to 5, like how painful they were. Or 1 to 10, sorry. From 1 to 10, how painful they were. And I was like, no, it's kind of a 5. But I feel like maybe I'm being too much of a wimp. Maybe it's not that painful. And she's like, well, you're on Pitocin, which makes it more painful. So I was like, okay, because like I see the contractions. They're there, but like I feel like they could be way worse. But it was uncomfortable. Like, who wants to have cramps? Like, or contractions? Like, no one wants to have that. Last time with Eleanor, I was having back labor. So, they hadn't even started Pitocin. Once my water broke with Eleanor, my contractions started and I started having back labor. I was like, give me the epidural. So, but this time, they started the Pitocin and I started having contractions. So I was having contractions for a little bit of time. Eventually, the doctor comes in and out. She decided to break my water, and I had asked her, I was like, just out of curiosity, is this going to hurt? And she said, she kind of looked at me. She was sitting at the foot of my bed, and she was like, not really. But it was kind of like not a very confident no. At this point, I had 2 nurses with me, and so the nurses were there, 1 on each end, and the doctor says, we're gonna go ahead and break your water. So I'm like, all right. So I never experienced what's like to have your water broken. So I was like, okay, let's see how feels like. Well, when she took out that tool, I already knew what the tool looked like. It's like this little white tool with, at the very end, it's like this little point. Well, let me tell you, when she started trying to break my water, I just about had a heart attack. I was screaming and I was sobbing like bad. Matt was sitting on the couch because I had the nurses on either end and the doctor at the foot of the bed. As soon as they started and I started screaming, Matt, like, I saw him come around to one side of the bed, not kind of like behind the nurse, because the nurses were in the way. And the doctor kept telling me, like, you need to stop getting away from me, because I was like grabbing onto the handles of the bed and just like pulling myself up. I'm like, it hurts, it's too painful. Again, sobbing. Didn't even ever occur to me to Google if having your water broken hurts. And yes, it hurts. Since I didn't have my family there, they also don't let you record or take pictures while delivering the baby. I told my older sister that I would FaceTime her, secretly FaceTime her, and have her record whatever audio she can capture. I eventually got an epidural. I got an epidural, and that wasn't too much of a big deal. However, the big deal was, just like last time, I don't know what it is, after a couple hours of being on epidural, I start to panic.
I've been feeling like caca all day. I've had 2 panic attacks or anxiety attacks. I threw up.
Panic, like to the point of throwing up. And I started to panic. I started throwing up. Matt had called the nurse to come in. And she was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, it's just the epidural. I don't like the feeling epidural because you're numb. Like, you're not, like, epidural makes you numb, but it's not like the numb like you think like you're paralyzed. It's a numb of like your leg falls asleep. You still feel your leg and you feel that tingling, but you cannot, like you're unable to walk because you don't have the strength. It's like, it hurts, it bothers. So I'm like, I don't like this feeling. I've been on epidural for way too many hours. Like, I'm just tired. Like, I want off of this. Like, I was like literally panicking. I was like, at this point, I would rather get off of the epidural. I would rather turn off the epidural machine and just go in and just do a C-section, because I don't want to be on this anymore. I'm tired. Like, I hate this feeling. This is a horrible feeling. And I was like, I know I'm getting in my head. Like, I know this is me. I know I need to calm myself down, but I'm just like, just telling you like how I'm feeling. So she's like, you know, I can't give you anything for this, because if I give you something, the baby's gonna have it, and like obviously we don't want to give the baby anything now. The baby's about to be delivered. So I was like, no, I know. It's just like I'm just in my head. I know I'm in my head. I'm just telling you like how I'm feeling. So you know, I calmed down. I you know, was relaxing, and then at some point, once again, had a panic attack. And at this point, I was hyperventilating. I was like, Matt again calls the nurse. He's like, or I can't remember if the nurse was in there at that point, but I know the nurse eventually came in out, and I was hyperventilating. And I was like, I know I need to call myself. It was like repeating the same thing as like I had said earlier. I was just like, but I couldn't breathe. Like, I was having a hard time breathing. I'm like, this epidural, I can't do it. It's too much. And I just, again, I hate the feeling of the epidural. Epidural really sucks. Well, at some point, you know, I finally calmed down. I was talking to my mom, and I was just trying to get myself out of that panic. And the doctor came in. She goes, you're gonna have the baby tonight for sure. I'm gonna make sure of it. And you know, they were pumping me with Pitocin. I had the epidural, I have a catheter in, everything is going. I'm slowly progressing throughout the day, but very slowly. And the doctor's like, well, I think the last time I'd seen her before delivering, she's like, okay, next time I see you, we're probably gonna deliver.
Alright, so the latest update is that about, what, 30 minutes ago? About 30 minutes ago, they checked me. I was 8 to 9 centimeters. 100% effaced. Baby's still at -1. And they gave me, I was starting to feel the contractions again. And so the anesthesiologist came in and put in the catheter in my back, some medicine that will be, it helps with numbing it, but not strong like an epidural, because they don't want me to be too numb. And then they upped my Pitocin to 4. And then the 2 nurses that I have tonight, which I don't know why I have 2, but whatever, it is what it is, came in and they actually prepped the room for baby's arrival. They said they wanted to have everything prepped so that when I'm 10 centimeters, it's pretty much go time. Bobby just ordered chilies for us. He'll eat first, and then I'll eat later once I can. Yeah, how do you feel? And he I want you to take off the sweater when it's time, because I want.
I'm just cold right now.
Okay. Because his shirt says I am your father, which is very appropriate for the situation. And then here are his, oh, you can't see it, our vitals are up there. And we're ready. I'm so ready. I love my kids, but being pregnant is very, very difficult from beginning all the way until you give birth. So my Theodore making out safely, and my Eleanor, I'm proud of you already. You're a big sister. You're my big girl. I love you both.
At this point, I'm exhausted. Matt's exhausted. We're both like pretty much like sleeping. He's on the couch. I'm in the bed. I finally am asleep after not sleeping all night because, again, you're constantly being checked. You have the monitor going on. I'm having to pee. So I finally am relaxed, and at like 9:15ish, the doctor comes in. She goes, I want to check to see where you're at. She's like, you're at 10 centimeters. And I looked at Matt. I was like, we already had a game plan. I was like, the game plan was, I have a hair tie my hair. I have a fan attached to my bed, like a stroller fan. Turn it on. And Matt goes and gets ice chips. Because last time when I was pushing with Eleanor, I started to sweat like crazy. And I had my mom and my sister there. Like, my sister was tying my hair. She was giving me ice chips to cool me off. She was taking off my gown. Whereas this time, I didn't have anyone. So I had to do this without my team. And so my fan was there. I had my hair tied. Matt runs to go and get ice chips, and the doctor's like, where did your husband go? I was like, no, he's getting me ice chips, and she's like literally prepping me. Like, she's like, lift up your legs, like you're going to start pushing. I was like, oh my god, like I was freaking out. I was like, I'm half asleep still, like you literally just woke me up. And she's like, you're 10 centimeters, like that's it. Like, the nurse was already holding my legs. Like, Matt finally came back, like, it came back fast. He's holding my leg, and I'm freaking out because I was like, I told my sister that I was gonna call her, but I'm not telling this to the doctor because I'm not allowed to call anyone or videotape or anything. So I was like, oh no. So I'm pushing. And I'm like, oh my god, this totally sucks. Like, I'm missing, like my family's missing this. Finally, I'm progressing, and baby's coming down, and the doctor pretty much is like, okay, we're gonna stop for right now. And a bunch of other nurses came in, and they were continuing to prep the room, like finishing prepping the room. Well, at this point, I quickly FaceTimed my sister. I didn't even say anything. I just grabbed the phone, and it was like, oh, she's connected. I put the phone, I tucked it in the bed sheets, and I literally just kept pushing. They didn't even notice because they were off doing their own thing, the doctors and the nurses. She also three-wayed my mom and my other sister so they can hear the delivery.
Oh, so you want to fuck? Yeah, like it's happening. It's happening.
His head is out. His head is out.
Oh my god. That's so weird. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so after 25 minutes of pushing, I had Theodore, and it was so fast. Like, I still feel like when I had the baby, I felt like I was still half asleep. So I'm gonna end this video here, and then I'm gonna continue with what it was like after we had the baby, and then the baby coming home, and what it's been like for the last 2 months.